You're listening to the Trance Messages from Spirit podcast. Hi, I'm Linda Pynaker. I'm a trance medium and author. Joining me today is Amanda Rawlings, who is also a trance medium. We talked about how she first discovered trance mediumship through channeling music, what her experiences have been, and how she plans to use trance mediumship. We were joined by 6 spirits, some of which were from collectives such as the Palladians and the Council of Nine. Amanda allowed them to use her vocal cords to speak, to share messages about trance mediumship. She also met her main trance guide for the first time. Hi, Amanda. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, Linda. I'm so happy to be here. It's a pleasure.
Me too. I had so much fun when we had a trance session before. I could just hardly wait to be with you again.
Oh, likewise. I had so much fun, and it was truly amazing. It's opened my mind.
Oh, thank you. Well, your mind was pretty open when I talked to you, so. So I wanted to ask you, what was your first experience with trance mediumship?
It's actually a pretty cool story. I started to make and write my own music 7 years ago. I used to be in a band. The band broke up, and I wanted to continue, so I just kind of put an intention out there, like, I don't want the music to end, so I started to write my own music, and little did I know, I was writing an album, and it pretty much transpired in 2 to 3 days.
Wow, that's channeling.
Yeah. That's channeling, and I didn't know at the time. I was just spewing lyrics, and I was basically going to bed and dreaming the song in its entirety. Nice. And I would wake up in the middle of the night humming into my voice memos, which sound really bad, by the way.
Well, luckily you don't have to publish that.
Thank God I don't have to publish those. But I was channeling, and that album came together for me. I mean, it was 2-3 days. I had all 7 songs, and that was my first sort of like realizing this is absolutely channeled.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, all the lyrics and everything. It came way too easy for me to. It wasn't me. Mm-hmm. There's no way.
Wow, what was your first experience in allowing spirits to use your vocal cords to speak?
Well, I think like I did have times when I was a kid, and I would just say things that were just a little too wise for my years, or I would just spew out a little nugget of wisdom that I just couldn't have known. Mm-hmm. And I think then it definitely wasn't coming from my brain. It was also channeling. Because I remember my mom and dad would look at me and they'd just be like, "What did you just say?" And I was like, "I don't know."
I know that lots of the trance guides that have come through over the years with me working with students and also me doing my own work, they have made it very clear that we often let them speak through us without us even being aware of it.
I completely agree.
That everybody does, so yeah.
I think everybody does it and they don't even know it.
Yeah. And so in terms of letting them use your vocal cords to speak, how are you developing those abilities?
Well, since the wonderful session with you, I'm trying to just sit in silence and trance channel daily.
Oh, good for you.
That's
what I did when I first experienced it too.
If it's not every day, it's every other day, but I just relax as much as I can, and I invite beings and spirits of light to just like merge with my energies and use my vocal cords if they want to.
Good for you.
So I've been practicing, and at first it was just sort of like, is this me, or is this
Yeah, it always feels like you're making it up.
Yeah, you feel like you're making it up. You're like, oh, come on. But then literally a few days into it, just practicing, I received this different voice where it was like a computerized voice that, while I'm trying to stay deep in, relaxation and trance, and I'm like in my mind going, what the heck?
Yeah, your mind's being blown.
Yeah, my mind is being blown, but I'm still trying to stay in that level of relaxation. But even I recorded it and I listened back to it, and it was bizarre. It sounded electronic.
I had that happen. I had it happen way back when, but I also had it happen recently. I think about 2 podcast episodes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's really
mind-boggling.
mind-blowing. Mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And it's exciting because it's like it's different every time. You can
Yes.
really, you
Yes.
know,
Some of the same spirits will come back and forth, and so you recognize them, and the minute they
yeah.
speak, you know who they. If you didn't pay attention to, like sometimes they come
Yeah.
so close to another one, you don't have time to even notice that they've come
Yeah.
in. But as soon as that different voice speaks, you recognize it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. So with practice, I can only imagine how, this
where it could
develops
go.
because
Yeah.
I
How do
mean,
you
yeah, we're
how do
we're
you
10
plan?
days in.
How do you
Lots
plan
going
on using
on.
your trans mediumship abilities?
How would I
How do you plan on using them? Those abilities.
Oh, well, along with mediumship,
Mm-hmm.
I really want to give back and help people like mediums helped me when my dad passed away. I
Mm-hmm.
was in a really, as anyone would be, there in a really rough state of
Yeah.
grief. And I went to a medium or two during that time. I
Yeah.
was so devastated. And they helped me lift out of the grief like I could not imagine.
Yeah.
And so I want to do the same. I want to give back and using channeling, and I hope to marry it with my mediumship skills
Yeah.
and help people see more hope and
Yeah.
light.
Yeah, and
And
just for them, just that reassurance that they're okay and getting the signs
yeah,
that they're around them and giving
oh
them a chance to
yeah,
speak to them. Like, I think that's the most rewarding thing about what I do
yeah,
is when they
yeah,
come through and speak them using my vocal cords and they share those
yeah.
such profound messages.
Completely, yeah. And
Oh,
I mean,
cool.
I can't think of a better job in the world,
I know. Sounds great, eh?
right? So it's just the fact that they can bring people out of grief and such devastation
Yeah.
with messages of love and hope, like it's amazing. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I plan to do.
Yeah, and I've noticed like with the large events that I've done, the largest event I've done is 96 people, but I've noticed that even though a lot of that audience won't have a loved one come through, it also helps them just being able to hear the other ones come through for the other people in the audience. Yeah.
Absolutely. It
It's
just kind of raises everyone up,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
right?
and gives them
And I
hope like
mean,
you said.
yeah, it's just such an amazing thing. And also to help people understand and believe that this
Mhm.
really is real.
Yeah, and there's life after death.
There
Because
is
a lot of
absolutely
people still believe that nothing happens.
I know. It's sad, isn't it? But there really is. It's eternal. So you know,
The other
it's
thing I the other thing I think is really neat is how often loved ones in spirit, where there's been a difficult relationship, they'll come
yeah.
through and use my vocal cords and they'll apologize for their behavior. That
Wow.
is so healing for people because they
Yeah.
just don't expect it from an abusive parent or a abusive spouse
Exactly.
or whatever, or someone who betrayed them, yeah.
Exactly. And to actually hear that evidence
Yeah.
from the loved one
Yeah.
through a channel, like
Yeah.
it's amazing.
And especially because when you do the channeling, you start out with evidential information, so the
Right.
person is confident that it's that spirit. And they're a little
Yeah.
shocked to hear them apologizing because most people believe they never would.
That's right. And then I mean it's a whole different, ball of wax
Yeah,
if
it's
you nail the Irish accent, then it's like, wow, how do you explain that?
yeah, yeah, it's just so healing. And I mean, some of the spirits come through and they don't even speak English; they speak their own language. I
Amazing.
find loved ones are less likely to that. They're much more likely to speak in my voice, and but you just know by the vocabulary that they use or the enunciation, or sometimes the voice gets a bit huskier, especially if they were smokers. Like there's usually
Yes.
signs so the person knows it's them anyway. The other
Yeah.
spirits seem much more likely to be want to do their own voice thing.
So yeah, which I'm totally open to, but I guess it was just sort of dipping the toe in with the computer voice. I was like, okay, wow, this is
This is
crazy.
real.
It's real.
Yeah. Anyway, so how about we check to see if any spirits want to add something to this podcast episode?
Sure. Sounds great.
Okay, we'll do.
We are also working with her. We are Arcturians in her dream time. We are helping you to channel. Much of what you learn, you will channel to help others. You will know it's us by this energy you feel. It is our great pleasure to be here. We are Pleiadians. She is our sister many lifetimes ago. We are working with her to increase her receptivity, her communication skills, her connection. I am one of her guides. I am teaching her strength and courage to stand strong like a warrior, to be a powerful being, like armor. Everyone can channel. Everyone does channel, whether they may know it or not. If they believe, they can transmit many messages from many beings. One must trust and surrender. There are so many beings that wish to help humanity. If you are interested in channeling, it is for a reason. We wish to help humanity. We are the Council of Nine. We are Arcturians. We come in peace and offer assistance. We wish to help. There is much to teach you. I am her main guide, yet to meet. I am a being from the Andromedan galaxy. I do not have a name as you have yours. We are a collective of energy, but you may call me what you wish. It does help some humans to have names. You are welcome. You will know it is us by the energies you currently feel, the way your head is turning. It is us.
Well, thanks for those lovely messages. You did such a great job.
Oh,
Just really
thank
appreciate
you.
it. So,
It's
what do you, I guess the thing that really stood out for me, and I'm sure it's the one that stood out for you too, was that your main trance guide came through.
Yeah, that was really unexpected and mind-blowing because I would have thought it would have taken more time before you meet your main guide.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and
Maybe a year.
I should have known when I felt the intensity of the energy that this one was different.
Yes.
Because it just,
Yes.
So much more powerful. And that's what I always noticed when people meet their master guide for the first time. And when I met my master guide and my trance guide, something about
Yes.
the energy is just much more powerful than the other spirits you connect with.
Absolutely. And at the time, I could feel it in my body. I knew that the energy was big and it was quite, I don't want to say powerful, but it was a
something
bigger
about it was
energy.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I was thinking it was intense, and yet I didn't really want to use that word because
Intense.
people think of intense as being negative, but it wasn't. It was intense in a very positive way, right?
Yes, it was. And it was interesting just to sort of remember that feeling and how my neck was sort of turning left because that was, indication of who it was coming through.
Yeah, he did that, or I guess I'm calling him he, but they don't.
Yeah,
most
I
of
know.
most of them don't have gender. Sometimes their energy feels more masculine or more feminine than
It
others.
did to
But
me. It did feel
yeah,
masculine.
it did to me. But anyway, yeah, that's really cool. And when you get to meet that main trance guide, that's cause for celebration. It's always an indication that you're at a certain level in terms of your spiritual development. Same as when you meet your master guide. It's cause for celebration.
Super exciting, and I sure didn't expect it. It was
and I want to tell you,
like Mr. O'Doul from 1929 Scotland or something, not a being from Andromeda.
And I also wanted to tell you that just before he mentioned about human beings and how we like to have names, that I was thinking in my head at that point, would you please tell us what your name is? And then he like answered the question.
I know it was if you must put a name to me, but I wasn't given one. But you know, I'll just keep connecting, and I'm sure I'll get something.
Yeah, most of the spirit guides don't care what you call them. You know, as far as they're concerned, just make something up. And
yeah, maybe we'll just call him Bob for now.
Okay. Anything else about the message that you remember? I know someone talked a bit about how to help the listeners know how to channel. So that was kind of cool too. They really do like to be helpful, don't they?
Oh, I think they're dying to teach. Like they're dying to help.
Yeah, and they want us to help the universe, and they help us do that through the messages that they channel too. So
exactly.
Yeah, so that was really great. I really appreciate you doing this for me. Thank you so much.
It's such a pleasure. I'm glad I didn't have the rookie nerves and not be able to connect. But no, it seemed quite easy.
Yeah, you did a great job.
And everyone can do it.
Yeah. For more information about Amanda, please visit adnama.ca/Amanda Rawlings. That's ADNAMA.ca/Amanda Rawlings. Thanks for listening. The next podcast will be available on Thursday, November 14th at 6 p.m. Pacific Time. I would love for you to join me then. If you'd like to be notified about upcoming Trance Messages from Spirit podcast, please follow me. If you'd like more information about the classes or one-on-one trance training I provide, you may visit my website at lindapynaker.com.